All right, we're here to take off the radiator today. The radiator and the fan, all that kind of good stuff. In my opinion, or close as I can see, there's only 3 bolts that hold this thing on, or nuts, whatever. The first one being right here. And this is a nut that holds transmission cooling line and actually your transmission cooler. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take that loose, it looks like, too, and pull that loose as well. We'll end up eventually taking it off, but there's also another nice little clip that we have to remove for the fan. Should be fairly easy. Should just have to push down here. Or maybe you got to get a screwdriver. Okay. The fan motor clip. Yep, you just take a screwdriver and push right in here. And push down, which releases the clip, and we just pull it right off. Fan motor. Awesome. Okay, and we also have the upper radiator mounts, and these are all 10mm bolts, by the way. Bolts and nuts and whatever, all 10mm. So at least you don't have to be running back and forth. At least you don't have to be running back and forth to getting different size wrenches. Pull that support off. This should actually be loose. Okay, I see we have some more bolts. It doesn't look like a 10mm though. And it's not. It looks like we have 2 more bolts up here at the top. Let me go find the proper socket and we'll return. Okay, these are 8mm bolts. I'm going to use my retainer clip tool here to pop these things loose. This is a handy tool, by the way. To do any interior work or have to remove those fender wells. This thing really makes things go a lot easier. Now, as you can see, we have an 8mm bolt right there. I believe I can get this off with my deep well socket. Yep. There's one. And of course this thing's got to be difficult. The other bolt, of course, is hidden right back in here. And I'm going to have to get a 8mm wrench and do this all by hand. So I'm going to spare you the pain of watching me do that. Well, quite happily I misspoke. I was able to loosen this radiator enough to take 2 blocks. Be very careful when you do this, by the way, because you don't want to hurt any of these fans. You don't want to bend any of them. It's aluminum, so they're very easily bent. But you can push your radiator out and block it with a couple of, I just use 2x4s, a couple of 2x4s, then slip my little 8mm ratcheting wrench in here, and I'm going to go to town. Well, we've just about got this radiator loose, and I've discovered yet 2 more 8mm bolts, screws, whatever you want to call them. One on each, another on each side. I don't want this radiator to come down too much because then I won't be able to reach the bolt. These bolts up here, we have it holding on. Some more trans-cooler stuff. Oh, we've got them. Set these up here just so we don't lose them, and hopefully this time, the radiator's good. We have a lower radiator hose that's still on there. I thought I was going to be able to just pull it out, but I'm not going to be able to. Y'all know how to take off hoses, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that thing. Well, I got that bottom radiator hose off, of course. Made another mess with the antifreeze, but we're done with that for now. I wanted to make a special note that those 2 8mm screws that I just took off, or bolts, actually held this trans-cooler line. Okay, let's see if we can't get this radiator out now. Again, we want to be very careful. We don't want to damage any of the fins in the radiator. Nor do we want to damage anything on the transmission cooler. And of course, we're getting more radiator fluid all over the garage floor. Seem to be hung up on. Seem to be hung up on this trans cooler line. But it appears that we have, again, two more 8mm bolts. Or screws. Got one loose real quick. And there it is. She's out. That wasn't quite as easy as I thought it was going to be, but we now have all the radiator hoses out. We shouldn't be leaking out any more radiator fluid. I'll be able to clean all this mess up. So we can slide under there.